annual mode mix has shifted from 10% to 28%, whereas banca it's a significant shift from 28 to 54%. On the key value drivers, we continue to still have a few problems on the key value drivers. Number of IROs from the original plan of 4,200, we have 3,999. On productivity, our original plan was to be 1.93, we're at 0.86. Average case size, basically we are better than original plan, from 6,600 to 6,800. Mainly with the positive number coming from banca, which was 7,800 as opposed to the actual of 11,500. On the sales force transformation, on our 80-20 advisors, at the 20% at the top level, we have 30% of our advisors, 1,108 to be exact. The case size is better than what we expected at 6,898. Generating a GWP of 4.6 billion. The bottom layer of advisors, 80%, which is actually accounting to 70% of the company's advisors. Well, we expected it to be about 2,500. Unfortunately, we are at 2,633 with a productivity level of only 0.6. We expected even at this level the productivity to be at least 1.1, so there's a significant gap here with a GWP of only 2.1 billion. So hardly any increase coming from this layer of advisors. Just to share the long-term business plan, just some salient numbers. These are the numbers the company shared in 2018 May with the group as well as with the directors, and this is the 5-year plan that has been approved. From the board point of view as well as JK's point of view, a lot of investments were made for us to achieve these numbers, so I thought it's appropriate for us to share these numbers at this first meeting. 2018, the original GWP agreed was 13.2, so you all know where we ended up with. 2019, as per the original long-term business plan, we have to achieve a GWP of 17.5 billion, of which 13.7 is from agency and 3.8 billion is from banca. The market share which we presented, which we expect, is 19%. So there's a significant gap because from December 2018, we were hoping to be at 16%, but we are not. So we have to see how we are going to bridge that gap as well. From active sales force, what we expected was 3,600, productivity of 1.4, with average case size of 7,300, and FIP of 6.8. Yes, thank you very much. Good luck as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Pereira, for sharing the details. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the final phase of today's gathering. But before we conclude, I would like to call upon Mr. Dirk Pereira, the Director CEO, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone, and for those of you who I haven't had a chance to personally wish, let me take this opportunity to wish you a very happy 2019 for you, your families, and your team. So I think Asha is setting the tone. 2018 hasn't been Union's best performance, and I think there are some learnings for us to gather from that. As we said on the first working day, it was an extraordinary year. We did so many changes, and we set the tone for a very ambitious 5-year journey. And along the way, we had certain drawbacks and certain lessons that we learned, which we think we really need to apply going forward into 2019. So a few thoughts from this. I don't think 2018 performance defines who we are. If we think that we are as good as 2018, we are letting ourselves down. I don't think, and I don't believe that any of you think, that 2018 was this company's performance, was this team's potential. So first thing, I think we need to clear that mindset. So 2018, we did a lot of great things. I think, as we said, we had a system change, we restructured the organization, we did so many service improvements. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. We went ahead and entered into bancassurance partnerships, which bring us to a very high standard in the industry. We have done so many multiple things, but somehow I guess the results don't really reflect the performance and the efforts that the team has put in. So the first step is to sort of let 2018 out of the way in terms of, is this our potential? Certainly it's not. We also have quite an ambitious roadmap that we rolled out in 2017. So it's important that we mentally sort of frame ourselves to figure out how we drive that. Because in a 5-year plan, our first year, to be fair, didn't go according to our expectations. But that doesn't mean that the next 4 years should also be the same. We need to be able to drive the next 4 years in order to essentially catch up. Now we know that catching up quite a substantial gap in GWP, which is going to affect going forward our renewal base, going forward affect our surpluses. That's not going to be easy, but we've got a 4-year window to achieve it. So we need to sort of learn from our mistakes and figure out how we drive these next 4 years. The second thing I want to leave you with is, don't be scared. Just don't be scared. I mean, sometimes we feel that, 2018 we did so many things, it didn't go right. Therefore, in 2019, we should not experiment, we should not make changes, we should try and do something that something traditional. The reality is, traditional isn't going to make you number one. That you have to be very clear about. Not taking risk is not going to make you number one. That will never happen. Our ambitious journey is to take some risks and take some and do things which other people are not willing to do to achieve number one. And we have to be very clear, when we mean number one, we mean number one in terms of regular new business. So our single premiums, our the elements which don't go into our regular business, anything other than we are really focusing on our regular FYP and our regular renewal premiums. So the single premiums give us a bit of a boost, and as Asha says, give us the momentum, but it's not really a line of business that we are focusing on because the margins are quite low. There isn't great sustainable business value there, but our regular business is what we focus on. So I think as a team, we need to sort of condition our mind to say, look, we continue to be innovative. We have to think differently. We have to be willing to take some risks in this business rather than going into our shells now and saying that, 2018 is a year that, we made a few mistakes, therefore we can't make any mistakes in 2019. I think that mindset needs to change as well. And I think some of the ideas that are coming out of the brainwaves also help us to sort of identify those opportunities, because to be number one, we have to do things that nobody else is willing to do or can do or will do. And as a team, we need to come together on that. But I'm not saying to be completely irrational and do things which basically over the next 5 years is going to harm this organization. I'm not saying to sell products which have no margins or no returns and give no profitability to the organization which we cannot invest back. I'm not saying that, but we need to basically gear up to try and see how we bridge this gap that we've created in 2018 over the next 4 years. And we still have a lot of confidence in the team. The board is very, very confident in the team. The feedback that we have got is, look guys, you've had a 2018 which probably does not reflect your potential, but that does not mean that the industry potential is not there. Last year when we presented the 5-year plan, we presented what the industry's potential is and what Union Assurance can achieve within this industry. Those have not changed dramatically. Of course, we have seen political issues and economic issues, and as Asha presented, the last quarters of 2018 haven't been good for the economy as well. But these are short-term issues that we will anyway have to deal with as part of doing business in Sri Lanka. So I'm sure those things will evolve over time. But the potential for the life insurance business remains as strong as ever. I don't think that despite whatever growth in the fourth quarter the industry achieves, we will see anything more than 0.5% of GDP as life insurance premiums. So that potential remains very wide and very open to us. I'll give you some rough statistics. I mean, we've got probably about 250,000 life insurance in-force policies from 30 years or 31 years. So the working population, even if you say is 4 million, there's a huge potential that we can achieve. So it's important for us to strategize how we achieve these long-term plans, given the potential that we have as an industry and the potential that 4 years of a 5-year journey, then I don't think we are putting ourselves in a right perspective, and we are not really setting a right framework to compare ourselves. 2018 was a good year in many respects. A lot of things got into place, but clearly the result is not reflective of that effort. So we can't really benchmark ourselves with 2018 and say 2019, if we compare with 2018, I don't think that that comparison is really fair. Rather, we need to look at the potential that we have as a team, the investment that we have put into the business, and how do we leverage that investment to catch up what we have lost in 2018. And I think that is a far better approach to take as a management team, and I'm urging all of you to come together and work together. I think we have a very strong team. I think sometimes as an organization, we have to learn from some of the missteps that we have taken, because success doesn't always come to, I mean, I think the learning that we are getting from this experience in 2018 is going to help us over the next 4 years. So let's learn from some of the things that didn't go well, and some of the many things that actually did go right, and really drive towards our 5-year journey, because that journey is reasonably fixed and we are not willing to compromise on that journey. Investments have gone into that journey. We are building a business for that potential. So we are in no mood to say 2018 is a defining year for us, and therefore we are going to take a step away from this 5-year plan and start an incremental journey. We need to be starting, we said when we started a 5-year journey that we want step changes, and incrementalism is not going to take us very far. We wanted step changes, and that's what we urge each of you to think about. How do we step change this business? Rather than saying, okay, 2018 to 2019, I'm going to do 10% more or improve 10% or 5%. I don't think we should be looking in percentage terms, but how do we get step changes to achieve the potential that we have? So I think as a team, we need to sort of create that mindset for ourselves and all the teams that we are working with, and drive that agenda forward, because the potential is still very much out there. And the pain that we have taken in 2018 should give us the strength to drive hard in 2019. We've invested 700 million in a new system. To be fair, we had 3 or 4 months where people were getting used to it. Things didn't go according to plan. But the first product that we want is already being tested. We've got 2 products for bank assurance which are currently being tested. So already the investment that we're making in this system is coming through. No other business, I would imagine, in the insurance landscape would have the capability to digitize and create products and provide service with the kind of platform that we have. So we have taken that pain, and now it's time that we leverage those investments to achieve what we want to achieve. We've also done a lot of work around the brand and what customers want. We've brought in an international consultant last year. We spent a lot of time with them. I think some of you interacted with them as well. So they have gone through a very world-class research process, identify the kind of customer segments we need to target in order to achieve Mission 1. I think Suresh showed you, okay, we haven't really digitized our HR processes, but John Keel's group invested in SAP SuccessFactors, so we digitize our HR processes. So every single process that we are doing, we are digitizing, we are improving, we are modernizing. Our product range will modernize in terms of what the customer ultimately wants. So of course, we need to create those products and actually test it realistically, whether advisors and bank assurance partners would be willing to sell those. But there's a lot of activity that we did in 2018, which we now need to leverage in 2019. So I think we need to take the lessons from 2018, but not benchmark ourselves with 2018. And be ambitious, continue to be ambitious, and continue to drive this 5-year journey that we set up quite aggressively and quite optimistically at the end of 2017, where we said, look, this is the potential that we have as a business, let's drive that potential. And we invested a lot of time and effort in 2018 to set that groundwork. Of course, we were ambitious to say we can set the groundwork and deliver a very strong result. So we set the groundwork, but maybe the ambitious results didn't follow. But that doesn't mean that we are going to be hampered by 2018. We need to see how we catch up in 2019 up to 2022. So that is the message that I want to leave with you. Let's work on that basis as a team. Let's take that message to our teams as well. 2018 does not define who we are. We have a 2 billion GWP gap. It's going to have an impact on our surpluses, and I'm not sure what kind of impact it would have on our bonuses, but the reality is it hasn't been a year that we can really be proud of. But that doesn't mean that we need to be cowed. It doesn't mean we need to be scared. It doesn't mean we don't need to think innovatively. It doesn't mean we need to stop being aggressive, stop being ambitious, none of those things. That's just a year that we've learned from. We've learned a lot from that year, and let's use it to our advantage in 2019 and beyond as we drive our 5-year plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me request all of you to stand and join the UA pledge.
I, being a member of the Union Assurance family, hereby pledge with my heart and soul to strive for excellence in everything I do. I recognize that the cornerstone of success is treating all stakeholders fairly, with compassion and respect, and with a commitment to service. I pledge to build strong relationships based on transparency and mutual trust and understanding, aiming at the ultimate convenience of all internal and external customers, through being easily accessible to them and providing prompt and speedy responses. Because innovation is the key to success, I pledge to foster innovation and always think differently, to find ways to constantly evolve and improve. I pledge to always do what is ethical and correct, and to be honest in all my dealings. Last but not least, I pledge to support every member of my team to unleash our potential and to grow together as a team.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the conclusion of the very first management meeting for the year 2019. I invite all of you to join us for a small snack outside the auditorium, and also hope that all of you have signed the attendance sheet which we have. And thank you once again for your presence here today, and also for the ones who have joined us through live streaming. Thank you very much. Small announcement for the RMs and the zonal managers. Please be back at the auditorium in 15 minutes to start off the meeting.